Cypress, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. You got a quick read before we get to
Robbie?
our next guest?
Yeah. So, who wants to win a bunch of cash while doing the best thing this holiday season? Okay.
Yes, that's
Okay.
us.
Yeah, us.
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
you-
Thanks for
What do
asking.
you keep asking us?
Because you
We're
keep-
in.
As soon as you start
We'll
to
do
read, I
it.
check out. Don't call me out.
Hey,
Okay. Who wants to win a bunch of cash while doing the best thing this holiday season? Yes. It's Sportsnet 590 The Fans 50-50 Fortune supporting food for kids. Here's what you need to know. We've created a 50-50 lottery where the more money we raise, the more kids we can feed in the GTA, and the more you can win. The current take-home prize is over $413,000, fellas. Someone is going to win that jackpot on Thursday, December 19th.
Wow.
And if you get your tickets early, there are more amazing early bird prizes, including 2 sports packages. One is a pair of tickets to an upcoming Leaf game and a signed William Nylander jersey. The second is a pair of tickets to a Jays game and a signed George Springer jersey. Get your tickets by Friday, December 6th at 9 a.m. for your chance to win. For more details and to buy tickets, go to foodforkids5050.ca or text word cash to 59590 and we'll send the link right to your phone. It's the 50-50 Fortune supporting food for kids. Standard message and data rates apply. Ontario only.
Thank you very much.
nice job.
Kip, what would you do with $413,000 right now?
Be somewhere a lot warmer, I can tell you.
Not be with me.
Right, not be with you guys.
That's a fair.
If I won, I'd still come every day.
All right, let's get to our next guest. And Sammy, you're going to go out on Mount Pleasant, roll out the red carpet for our national guest, right?
Is he here?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah.
Not yet.
I'll go when
I
he's
hope
ready.
Mess elbows you when you pick
It's
him
like
up.
No,
Christmas.
yeah.
But in the meantime,
okay.
we've got a warm-up band named Robbie Stanley.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. But we do have Mark Messier coming in the National Hour, Robbie. How are you, pal?
Trust me, no disrespect taken. I'm fully aware where I stand on that.
I'm standing beside you in the pecking order. Don't worry. We're all well behind Mess.
You've got you host Robbie and Rex Road covering the Nashville Predators. We appreciate you joining us. Also do some great work with the NHL.com. And where is the Nashville Predators from here on in moving forward here? Is there still a chance that this team can climb back in, Robbie?
I mean, I guess there's a chance, but they're playing so poorly that it's hard to see it. It really is. I mean, and, everybody around here keeps talking about the 18-game point streak that they went on last year that really propelled them into the playoffs. Problem is, that doesn't happen very often in the history of the National Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are rare for a reason. And right now, I mean, they'll put together a game or two here and there that looks pretty good. And then they go back basically in the game after that to just getting totally outplayed 5-on-5. Their 5-on-5 game this year has just been atrocious. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And they have not been able to really make any progress in that area from the beginning of the season until now. And I think beyond the record, which is concerning enough if you're a Predators fan, the way that they've played 5-on-5 is probably the most concerning part, because to me, there's not really many signs that they're digging their way out of this right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That 5-on-5 play is pretty telling sometimes. So the question is, how do you go from being a 99-point team with a plus 21 goal differential to what's happening right now, considering it looks like they added some pretty good players?
Yeah, I mean, they've got what's been either at the top of the league or near the top of the league with a penalty kill all year long. Their power play has been pretty good, not great, but good. And yet they're still way behind last year's pace. They're getting pretty good goaltending from Saros, but they just can't score. I mean, their offense is totally dry 5-on-5. And you think about the pieces they added in Stamkos and Marchessault and Brady Shea on the back end, and it's just mystifying. And I think probably the most telling part is I think guys in the locker room are searching for it. I asked Steven Stamkos last Friday after they lost to the Lightning basically how mystifying it is that they got all these guys in the locker room that have scored a ton of goals throughout their career, and they just can't do it. And he said, I got some thoughts on that. And then he wanted to kind of pause there for a second before it felt like he was about to call somebody out, thought better of it, and then talked about how they just can't generate and they can't get open. They need guys that can, find seams and get open and get to the middle of the ice, which they've just had a really hard time doing. 5-on-5, they can't generate enough offense, and they're near the bottom of the league in goals for per game because of it.
Brady Shea, I get as a blue liner for sure. But now, is there a feeling of, did you need two similar type of players like Stamkos and Marchessault in one UFA free agency?
I think it's fair to ask, and I think one of the things that we wondered about heading into the year that I think is really starting to kind of rear its ugly head here is, all right, you got Stamkos, who is obviously an elite finisher, one of the greatest finishers in the history of the game. Marchessault just scored 40 goals in his career for the first time in his career. Yeah, Philip Forsberg on the wing. All those things are great. What about up the middle? Like, how equipped are you up the middle to really generate offense and get these guys the puck? And Ryan O'Reilly, as you guys are well aware, really good season last year for the Predators. That line with Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist was really, really good from start to finish last year. Well, they've not really picked up where they left off. Tommy Novak, a lot of expectations on him this year to be kind of that driver on the second line as a centerman, and he just hasn't done it. And he's not scored a goal since October the 22nd. He's not really distributing the puck all that well. They're not hanging on to it when he's out there. So I think what some people feared could be their weakness, which is their center ice position up the middle, has been a huge weakness for them so far this year. And I'm not sure that Stamkos and Marchessault at this point in their careers are really drivers of lines. And if you're not driving the line and nobody's getting you the puck, hard to produce that way, which is why I think the production has been so limited for them, particularly at even strength.
Yeah, to drive home your point, they're 32nd in the NHL in goals for per game, 2.32 goals per game. So a lot of work there. So where do you start with trying to fix this thing? Because I think all of us, and I think Kip and I here included, see a pretty good roster there. Like, there's enough players there to have some success. Could it get to a point where they look at Andrew Brunette, or, what is the solution here other than just kind of hoping things get better?
Well, I think Brunette's the first one that comes up, right? Because, I mean, if you look at their roster, Forsberg, Yossi, Saros, Stamkos, Marchessault, a lot of these guys are older guys locked down to, longer term, and many of those guys have trade protection as well. So it's not like you're shaking that group up too much. So, look, they've got some young guys in their system that they feel pretty good about. They have 3 first-round picks at their disposal this year that Barry Trotz has not touched yet. So they do have some assets that they could use to try to shake things up via trade a little bit. But the problem is so much of their core right now is locked in that this was kind of all in for the next couple of years. And it's not gotten off to the start that anybody wanted. So I think, when that happens, the first thing you look at is the coach. Now, Barry Trotz has been pretty staunch in his defense of Andrew Brunette. And I don't get the sense that he's looking to make a move with Andrew Brunette anytime soon. But if it continues this way, guys, I mean, you may reach a point at some point this year where you don't really have a choice if you're Barry Trotz. And that would be unfortunate. Like, I think Andrew Brunette's a really good coach. He won the President's Trophy in Florida as an interim coach there. He was a Jack Adams finalist last year. I think he's a good coach. I think he knows what he's doing. But for whatever reason, the results just are not coming with this group right now.
The Toronto Maple Leafs may be taking a new approach to salary management, which could directly impact Mitch Marner's contract negotiations. During Kyle Dubas' tenure as general manager, the team didn't hesitate to spend heavily, and this trend began with a 6-year extension signed by Marner in 2019. At the time, Marner's $10.9 million annual cap hit set the market for superstar wingers, surpassing comparable players like Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche, who signed a 6-year deal with a $9.25 million annual cap hit. Now, however, times seem to be changing. TSN's Pierre Lebrun recently reported that the Maple Leafs have implemented an internal salary cap, aiming to ensure no player earns more than captain Austin Matthews, who signed a 4-year extension worth $13.25 million per season in August 2023. The team's primary concern revolves around Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, who, according to Lebrun, might push for a percentage of the total salary cap instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. Lebrun noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Auston Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with the team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferris, known for his hardline tactics in securing lucrative deals for his clients. While pushing for top dollar is expected, Ferris may need to weigh the risks of alienating the Leafs management and fanbase. A prolonged stalemate could damage Marner's relationship with the team and its supporters. The Leafs management, led by general manager Brad Treliving, faces a pivotal moment. Treliving's reputation as a negotiator and team builder will be on full display as he navigates this high-stakes scenario. Striking the right balance could solidify his tenure in Toronto, while a misstep might set the team back for years. For Maple Leafs fans, the coming months will be filled with anticipation and uncertainty. Marner's future, along with the team's ability to stay competitive under financial constraints, will likely dominate conversations as the season unfolds. Supporters can only hope that the team's new approach leads to greater playoff success and, ultimately, the elusive championship. In the end, the outcome of these negotiations could redefine the Maple Leafs' identity for years to come. Whether it results in retaining Marner or reshaping the roster, the team's commitment to an internal salary cap signals a clear focus on long-term sustainability. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for a resolution that keeps the team's core intact and their championship dreams alive. As the negotiations with Mitch Marner